Ladies, what is a dead giveaway that a guy watches too much PRN when you sleep with him? I'll reuse my comment from another Ask Reddit thread about guys and PRN. Deep throating. I'll give you a blowjob, but don't force it down my throat constantly like in PRN. The next morning I think I'm coming down with a cold, but really my throat is chafed for days. I'm like he's trying to jackhammer concrete. Wasn't having sex but made out with a guy who shoved his hand in my mouth. Literally tries to ram you in the ass full force thinking it's hot when in actuality all it did was take away my sitting privileges. It's not a race to the finish, dude, calm down. When a guy rubs the lips instead of the clitoris. I've seen that in PRN all the time and I don't understand it. When they open up to a camera that isn't there. They see man in PRN from the side. Playing open to the camera. So they adopt that method because girl seems to enjoy. Not realizing why he's at that sideways angle. Not as bad as some of the others here. And nothing to do with having sex. But was texting a guy I matched with on Tinder and we were talking about our physiques. I mentioned that my size was DD. And he replied using one of my pictures saying they don't look like double D though. Apostrophe. I don't know what to tell you, man, but sorry, my real life human DDs don't look like hentai DDs. Edit. Oh my god. Yes. I'm a 36 DDD. And I've had guys say, are you sure you're not a C? Well. I've only been walking around wearing these tits for the last 20 years. Not to mention having worked as a professional bra fitter in a lingerie store for like 3 years. But what do I know? When he fingers you but it's actually just him scratching the inside of your vagina like it's itchy. These are the kind of threads where I read about 90% of the comments. If he is a random hookup and tries choking you or smothering you by covering your mouth and nose. Despite you pushing his hands away multiple times. Not like this has ever happened to me. Jackhammering you till he finishes. Then asks you if you came even though he didn't even touch your clit. Asked to do a deep throat exactly like those P-Rum stars. Says it's not that hard and forced me even if I don't like it. Says that it not right. That I must do like them, shows me how to do it. Says that I'm too quiet. That I don't moan or do dirty talks. TL. DR. Compare everything to PRN. Want to act like they do in PRNS. He hummed the intro music. These comments are making me not want to have sex. I wanna make you squirt. A coworker's girlfriend would let him wear VR goggles so that he could be banging whoever he saw. I hope she too had goggles. That would make for an interesting adult dystopian short story. In the near future. Random hookups will occur where traditional facial attractiveness is irrelevant. As is the ability to speak or hear. Just show up. Shake hands. Sign a waiver. IDK. Strap on the headset and go to town. Each participant chooses their own avatar as well as partner's avatar. And vice versa. Absolutely removing every aspect of sex except the physical interface. When he's disgusted by women who have larger labia and thinks that it means they've had a lot of sex. Helen has now had sex with over 3,000 men. Her labia has ballooned to the size of the Vatican City. This is her story. His idea of foreplay is you suck his dick. It's been said many times before. But apparently it's still relevant today. Learning to make love by watching PRN is like learning to drive by watching NASCAR. The assumption that I'm going to have Olympic gymnast level limpness. If my knees haven't gone past my ears in a while, I'm going to have to do some stretching first. He asked me if I could hold one leg straight up in the air so we could do it standing up like I was some sort of circus yoga master. It was one of our first times. It didn't go well. The best way to tell is when they ask for impossibly complicated positions and genuinely don't understand why you can't bend into a pretzel and take a dick in your ass like a human fleshlight. Edit to add. BDSM things. Choking. Slapping. Spitting. Name calling. without asking. Jackhammering hard and long enough to bruise my thighs. Thinking I can ride cowgirl for more than 40 minutes without taking a break. Sex that lasts 4 hours without anyone coming. Eating me out like a pudding cup. Treating my tits like a bop it. Not being able to look me in the eye. Only being able to finish by jerking off, etc. 40 minutes LMFAO? If I can ride my boyfriend for like 2 minutes without my legs giving out, I'm proud of myself. Eater. 1. Riding can be a problem not just because of physical or lack thereof, but because often the angle is awkward, especially with different body sizes. When he gets mad at me because he can't make me come. Kisses like a washing machine. Pushes your hair down when blowing him. Wants to choke you immediately during dogger style. Wants an L without lube. Wants to you till you squirt. Wants to go from PSSY. Us. Mouth to any of the others without washing. Edit. Thanks for awards upvotes, and I think I should have said this before, but communication is key during sex and relationships. There's a difference in tone when asking, do you like that? Is this position enjoyable for you? And do you like that? Yeah bitch, I'm giving you this diag woo. And please no. We know the difference. Start with the first one, and once we are actively enjoying the dick, move on to that second one. Making zero attempt at foreplay or any kind of partner stimulation. Trying to use spit as lube. Then asking, are you always this dry during sex? To which I answered with a solid nope. The instant jackhammer. Thinking that having a huge dick automatically makes them a sex god. Also trying crazy positions that don't even make practical sense. Thinking that ramming your cervix feels good for you, then act shocked when you roll over and cry from the pain. Huge dicks are so unpleasant to me. I really am not a fan of being constantly booped in the cervix like it's a doorbell. Edit. Thank you for the gold. No foreplay. He touches her for 30 seconds. Sticks a finger in to see if she is wet. Slaps dick on clit. During sex he makes no sound. Comes. Rolls over. I can just picture what goes through a guy's head when he slaps his dick on a clit. You can fit so many sperm cells in this. Edit. I appreciate all the love and awards. Folks. Got to say. There was no mistake in my sentence though. Clits are hoods, as another person stated earlier. LMAO. Edit 2. I see this is gaining a lot of traction, so anyone reading this just lost the game. Thinks choking means crushing your trachea. You better teach that man before he kills you. Assuming that you like being choked. One of the biggest scares of my life was when a guy I was making out with grabbed my throat out of nowhere. Jackhammering everything. No foreplay. Sessions that last hours. I had 2 experiences with guys who said they're finding it hard to come because they masturbate too much. I know what you'll say. Maybe he just wasn't that into it. But I think it's a real thing. Antidepressants can do that too. Had partners get upset with me about it in the past. Which doesn't really help. I hooked up with a guy who immediately went a little too rough, dominating too quickly. He hooked his fingers in my mouth. Threw me around harshly. And just overall didn't care. I was a little uncomfortable with how hard he was doing things. I've seen PRNs go slower than he did. Copying the grunts and dirty talk. And the occasional slap in the face. It's one thing if this occurs naturally or the partner has already expressed an interest. But if it's the first time and they do any of this, it's clear they're acting on what they think they should do rather than from experience. Some dudes seem to not understand that the best sex involves a connection with the other person rather than putting on a show. Eater, I have no problem with people watching PRN. I do too. But PRN and real sex are as different as a soap opera and real life, and it feels very weird when someone doesn't seem to get that. Assuming every girl wants to blow them and be solely satisfied with just that. This thread is depressing. Treating the clitoris as if it's a doorbell. Guys like this will try positions that look good on camera but don't really feel good. They don't pick up signals from their partners either. Dude. Loitering around the dryer. He comes in dressed as a plumber. It's a me. Guys that think stimulating you for like a minute is blowing your mind. I'm really surprised PSSY slapping hasn't come up yet. Asking for an L. Threesomes. Come on your face constantly. Playing the DJ decks a little too enthusiastically. Eating you out for 3 seconds like they're licking the cream out of an Oreo and expecting you to come. A lack of light and gentle erotic touch. The kind that gives you goosebumps of pleasure as you explore each other's bodies. With the focus on exploration of pleasure. By the time he eventually makes it to my vulva, I'm wet enough that we sort of just slip together without any effort on his part. Compared to the I'll spit on it and jam it in there. When they expect you to look like a P-run star. Cellulite. Completely shaved. P-run star genitalia etc. Rubbing the general crotch area like a genie lamp. Is that your clit? Why are you like that? There's a certain way guys who watch a lot of PRN will try to finger me, and it's so consistent that it has to be from PRN. It's like 2 fingers slapping my PSSY almost. It doesn't do much for me personally and we usually move on to better things, but I've suspected for a while they got it from PRN. Edit just wanted to say don't be ashamed or embarrassed if you've done this. It's NBD. From my own experience, hooking up with girls successfully can be challenging, and personally I found it to be extremely intimidating. Especially because every girl is different or has different preferences. The real solution is a lot of communication, within reason. Ask her what she likes. Ask if something feels good. Go slowly. Etc. You really can just Google tips and techniques, and that's a good place to start. Asking if you squirt. Pro tip ladies. When they try to take pictures without consent. Like yeah. Dude. I get you've seen that in PRN, but IRL that simply isn't done. Not washing your hands or trimming your nails before touching fingering the vagina. He brought a fluffer with him. Keeps calling you stepsis. Thought this said sepsis and was wondering what kind of situation would warrant a man saying that to you in bed. Also. No moaning. At all. Like I get it. You're the pinnacle of manliness and men don't make noises ever in PRN, but could I pretty please hear you groaning at my neck? Thanks. Edit. Guys. You do not have to moan if you're not comfortable with it. That's the whole point of SXTBH. This comment was directed to people who don't do what they want out of shame or societal norms. And even so. These answers are awesome and relatable and hilarious. Most of the dead giveaways have already been answered emo. So. To make the men of Reddit feel better. Goes right for the butthole. Edit. Yeah, gotta ease the butthole before pleasing the butthole. When you ask for foreplay and he yes on you. When he makes it clear his goal is to beat it up and leave you sore. Which you never are. More like annoyed and uncomfortable. Anybody ever experience he wants to change positions every 2 minutes? What, like 2 minutes of SX and then shifting position to sleeping? When he insists on buying lemon tree insurance. When he's uncut and thinks he's ugly. Or when he thinks being a grower and not a shower is a problem. Like. Maybe it's just me. But watching the Olay turtle come out of its shell because dude likes me is a huge turn on. Bruh, one of the best things ever to me is when a dude gets hard in my mouth. That's such a SI. Powerful feeling like my skills are resurrecting this cock. I am the bringer of cock life. It's neat. When your guy starts bouncing his dick rapidly on your PSSY before entering. I once read that guys in PRN do this to warn his co-star that he's about to enter. Whether it's true or not I don't know, but it does make sense. Where it doesn't make sense is in real life, where that rule isn't universal and it's just completely random. He was genuinely surprised when he was told that not all girls love giving blowjobs. He thinks spitting on your asshole is sufficient as a warm-up and lubricant for an LSX. He lays his phone on your chest while you're having sex and watches PRN. Not sure if anyone has already said this, but and he goes down. He does that thing where he just sticks his tongue out and shakes his head side to side really fast. Guys who think watch too much PRN reading this thread. Write that down. Being critical of normal stuff, like having some cellulite, body hair, or little fat rolls in some positions. I honestly think that for a lot of men, if they came across women who did not shave, wax, or pluck their body hair, they would think the woman is some sort of yeti or has some disorder that makes them overly hairy. I was about to lose my view with this guy, and he wanted to do crazy ass positions because he's a SX master and he loves trying new positions, and when it didn't work out well, OBV, he got angry at me for not trying hard enough and that his hot female friends do it better than me. Thank God I didn't lose it to him. Some of these have been mentioned, but spitting on a girl for lube, like long range hawking at my vagina. No sir. Abusing the clit like he's a DJ. No stroke technique. He's just straight in and out. If he's feeling fancy, he will just go faster. PRN isn't centered around women's pleasure, so they don't know angles or hip movement. Dirty talk is PRN catchphrases like growling oh yeah. Now I feel like I'm having sex with the Kool-Aid man. Edit. Clarification about being spit on. Edit about stroke technique. If your hips are locked, then you're just jabbing your dick in and out and only hitting one angle, which may work for some women. If you move your hips while you thrust, you hit more angles. Better chance of clit stimulation so she can come. Think of a digging motion or small circles like a hula hoop. What I've learned from this thread. The bar is on the floor. Edit. Hey MA. I'm famous MA. He thinks all women come from just PIV. No additional stimulus needed. I'm much older than most of the people posting here, a dreaded boomer. In most ways I think the younger generations are far superior to mine, more open-minded, more patient with each other, less self-centered. The one exception to those general rules seems to be SX. My generation had to work really hard to find PRN. And what little PRN was available was a lot gentler than what I see now. My generation had to learn how to have SX from listening to our partners. And I think that's the way it should be. Did NoFap for 2 months. Had SX and busted instantly, and the girl thought it was because I watched too much PRN LMAO. Never did NoFap again after that IA. Edit. NoFap is a good thing for a lot of people. And I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again. I'd probably just yank it again if I thought I was gonna bang soon. Also, I still try not to watch PRN. Spanking it is fine, in moderation, but PRN is just bad. He looks confused afterwards when he closes his laptop and you're still there. When they're selfish. Was with this one dude who as soon as he finished pushed me to the side and just laid down. An inability to engage and seduce their partner, not even foreplay, but the stuff before foreplay, to actually get her in the mood. Like, it's not a switch you turn on. It's a feeling of attraction, you have to cure it. Pulls out the anal beads like he's starting a lawnmower. When he says, ah, retro when seeing some pubic hair. The most honest answer I can give is either he can't finish or blows a really small load. Maybe guy was pre-gaming so he could last longer. He brought a friend. Rubbing a clit as if they're sanding down a piece of bark. Not a lady. Wow, I totally agree. By commenting this. Going down for 10 seconds and thinking that will make me come. I stopped this guy from choking me during SX because I'm not into it. His dick is desensitized. Has to finish the job himself. Jamming into my clitoris as if he's trying to erase it into non-existence. Listen. My clit has multiple times the nerve endings of your entire dick. It would literally suffice to rub it with a feather unless someone asks you to do otherwise. Jamming into it literally makes me cringe just at the thought. I don't care what PRN stars do. Side note. For everyone. Keep your fingers out of my ass. I was doing an L once with my ex. And he stopped to look at my butthole to see if I was gaping. Lol. It had been 5 minutes and his dick wasn't large. Other signs pointed towards him watching way too much PRN. But that was definitely the end of our anal experiences. He expects it to be shaved bald. When he thinks that a whole hand up the butt is a normal thing. When he tries to bring an octopus into the bedroom. God. My one ex did like this. Let's film it. It'll only be just for us. Babe. Can we do it without a condom? I'll pull out. You can trust me. Expecting a BJ all the time. But not giving anything in return. Not listening to anything that is said. Unless it's harder or faster. Jackhammering. What do you mean you need more than just my dick in you to get off? My dick is larger than average. So I'm just gonna put it in without getting you adequately ready. It's no wonder why we broke up. Especially when me saying hey. I'm pretty sure I like girls. 2 went immediately to so. We can bring in another girl? This was all before I came out of the closet as NB though. Back when I still identified as a girl. In counterpart. Guys who read way too much erotica for learning purposes think that 2 hours of bad oral sex and fingering a game. Goddamn it dude, just put IT in. Me up. A guy said to me once girls like to be dominated. Asking to do an awkward position without even being able to properly lead it, then get disappointed when you don't do it right. Like damn son, I also wanna be adventurous and all that. But if you wanna try something, at least make an effort to how to actually do it than just imagining it after you watch it on PRN. After reading these responses, I am forced to conclude that I am the world's greatest lover. Asking if I came after I gave them oral. Like what? Can't get stay hard. Needs to close his eyes and focus to finish. Aka has to imagine PRN to come. When he gets rough and starts doing things without consent, thinking all girls like it rough. Like slapping me in the face is fine when we discuss it beforehand and I consent to it. But randomly doing it and me not expecting it. Not cool dude. I'm male but my wife has told me that switching positions is fine, but you have to communicate it rather than trying to physically flip her over like you're tossing a pancake. Remind me when someone will answer that. I'm a gay guy but I've seen straight and gay PRN and I'll state that straight PRN is ridiculous. The women are clearly rarely enjoying themselves with all the positions. Not to mention there are times when the guy is going really fast and the girl looks to be in pain while faking an orgasm. I will state that made for female PRN is pretty hot though, and I've never been attracted to women. Ever. But the intimacy is hot. Gay PRN is the same. Except that they usually don't go straight into line, they usually do prep the bottom pretty well and they slowly push in. I've seen straight PRN where I'm like dude. That's too quick and too hard, you're gonna cause some serious damage to her. Also in gay scenes they can and do get rough, but there seems to be an extra sense of care when compared to straight PRN. Straight PRN is all about the male getting off and rarely about the woman. It's tight but it's the truth. I was with one woman who stopped mid-performance and said, "You don't watch PRN, do you?" I was taken aback and said, "No. Is that a problem?" She said, "I thought so. You're not acting like a PRN star. I like this." Shame it was a one-nighter though. I did get a call months later offering another round because she was horny whilst pregnant, not mine. But I was away at the time. What is with all the comments about men complaining to the girl's face about her cellulite? Body hair? Stretch marks? That seems unbelievably rude. When you're sucking dick and they immediately try to start face-eyeing you. Like, I don't have deep throat skills like that. And you grabbing the back of my skull to force your dick down my throat isn't going to make it any better. I'm just gonna vomit on your dick. Edit. For those me hate. Yes, I'm a dude. But dick is dick and I'm bi. So go yourselves. He makes comments about your body and how you should tone up and you would be hotter. No, I'm dumb man. But you looking at idealized women all day isn't helping. And I'm going through my own with my own body.